Here's a guy who made it in. Let's go to Jeff in Southfield. He was a member of the Smackoff. He'll be invited back next year. What's going on, Jeff? How are you?
Thank you for the vine, Jim. Jim, I've updated my Cal in Vegas impersonation. It now sounds like this. Hey, I tell you, I don't get no respect. I don't get no respect at all. Hey. That was a great call, Rodney. Hey, Jeff in Richmond. It's not who wants to walk with Jeff in Richmond. It's who wants Jeff in Richmond to walk. And the answer is your doctor, because you're fat, Jeff. Seriously, Jeff, your veins have more clogs than Matt in LA's work week. But you know who doesn't want you to walk, Jeff? Your trophy wife. She wants you to shotgun a keg of melted butter. That way when you drop dead, she can have all of your money instead of just having all your bros. Hey, Jim, here's a joke for all the Star Trek geeks. Hey, Lef, I was trying to remember where I've seen you before, and then I remembered. You were on Star Trek where you played a dude named Ferengi. What's up, Ferengi? And lastly, Jim, hey, Brad and Corona, here's what your photo says about you. The banana hammock says you have junior league junk. The cigar says you're insecure about your junk. And the hat and sunglasses say you're embarrassed to be you. You should be embarrassed, Brad. You have 5 crowns, and all you have to show for it is fast-tracking your gimp onto the hack-off watch list. Hey, Reggie, you're not just Brad's bitch, you're his gimp. Get back in your box, bro. I honestly can't stand you dudes and your whiny Jeff and SoCal voices. You remind me of the Dead Milkmen song, Bitchin Camaro. Except in your case, it's called Bitchin Corona. Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna drive Brad's car, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna drive it real hard, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna shift a stick, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna ride that, woo! Bitchin Corona, ba-da-da-bam-ba-da-bum.
Wow. All right, 2 thoughts. Let me save you the trouble. Where was that on Friday? Secondly, that was his best effort since the Fonz. Man, Jeff at Southfield fired up. Man. This dude. Hey, and anybody else think that when he submitted that pic, is that really him? Do you think that that's really Jeff in Southfield? 1-800-636-8686. Damn. Like, normally I'm not that interested in knowing more about a lot of the clones, if you feel me. I kind of want to know more about that guy because what we're getting is not what that guy is, I don't think. But what we're getting is still pretty awesome. That was wild. You may have heard at the very beginning of the program, or at the very beginning of that call, he said, I want to update my take or my impression of Cal in Vegas. And then he did the Rodney Dangerfield impression. That's one of the conspiracy theories floating around on social, that he ripped that call from Rodney Dangerfield. I don't know whether he did or didn't. For the record, it was a really good call. For the record, you could argue that it was a top 10 call. It didn't happen, all right? As I said at the very top of that show on Friday, there are almost no rules except my decision is final. These are a tough decisions to be made. Those were tougher decisions than I've ever had to make in a Smackoff because there were more good calls than we've ever had in a Smackoff. I said it all week long leading up to it. The field was deep, deeper than it's ever been. You know it's good when the after calls the following week, in some cases, are as good as the Smackoff calls. I'm going to argue his call that he's made, weird as that was, and that's a very example of weird being good. That was extremely weird. And weird is good in that case. Sometimes weird is just weird. Sometimes weird is whack. Sometimes weird sucks. Sometimes weird is good. That was good. That call right there was better than his call on Friday. That happens sometimes. Sometimes people make better calls prior to or right after. Man, Jeff in Southfield. Not that he had to, because I said it before he came on that he's already set for next year, but he just doubled down on that call next year. That guy makes me want to take his calls. And I know a lot of you don't feel that way. My man is weird. And weird is good. Bill Ratka's in. He tweets, give me more of Jeff in Southfield. Dude is not right, and I like it. See, I'm not going to go that far. He may be right. He may be right, and that might be his deal. Or then again, maybe he's not right, and that might be his deal. Either way, I agree with you. We need more of that guy. I knew it the second he made that first call. And Hitman Canadian tweets, Jeff in Southfield is a little bizarre. Signed Marilyn Manson. At SA Sports Honk. Trying to run, and I am doubled over listening to Jeff in Southfield. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I like when he went with the musical accompaniment at the end of the call. This next one is from at Norton RVA. Jeff in Southfield is the people's champ. At Mock Moda. It's over. Jeff in Cookfield just won. Hashtag Smackoff27. Smackoff27 has not started yet. Tell you what. Get it, Jeff.
Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna drive Brad's car, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna drive it real hard, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna shift a stick, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna ride that. Woo! Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. Ba-da-da-bam-ba-da-bum.
This dude is so weird and so awesome. I'm gonna drive that car real hard. Did I just hear what I just thought that I heard? I mean, how much more bizarre is that even than Arthur Fonzarelli? He tried to bed Pinky Tuscadero in the basement of Mr. Cunningham's house. Well, Wells in the 360 tweets, have Rit book Jeff in Southfield for the podcast. An hour of that would be awesome. I would, except we've already got a guest for tomorrow. It's Eric Weddle. I'm sure Eric Weddle would understand if we moved him out after a great, great NFL career for Jeff in Southfield. At DLH1029 tweets, Jeff in Southfield, the best delivery in the jungle. If you're looking for this guy on Twitter, his handle is at Schooldya. At Schooldya. SCHOOLDYA. At Schooldya. Alvin, can I hear that one more time? Just the musical accompaniment at the very end? Or actually him lyrically?
Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna drive Brad's car, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna drive it real hard, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna shift a stick, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. I'm gonna ride that. Woo! Bitchin' Corona, bitchin' Corona. Ba-da-da-bam-ba-da-bum.
At Fantasy Wire HQ tweets, not a big Jeff and Southfield fan, but damn, much respect for the Bitchin' Camaro reference. Nice one, bro. That was a nice one. Bitchin' Camaro. Bitch in Corona. I see what you did there. Thank you. Do that again, Alvin, for those who missed the reference. That's what he was doing. I see what you did there, Jeff.
Bitchin' Camaro, bitchin' Camaro. I ran over my neighbors. Bitchin' Camaro, bitchin' Camaro. Now I'm in all the papers. My folks bought me a bitchin'
How much better is that now that you've heard that? All right. 1-800-636-8686. I love that. Reactions pouring in for this guy. You see? This is why I reacted the way that I did right after he made that first phone call about Arthur Fonzarelli being the ultimate clone. And I've said since then that was the best single debut call to this show in the history of the show. It took a little while, I think, for a lot of you to figure this guy out. Maybe you need that phone call to figure this guy out. The reaction is pouring in for Jeff. At DB the Rocket Guy tweets, oh my God, it is so hard to drive while listening to Jeff in Southfield. I am laughing my ass off. JWags15 tweets, oh my freaking God, Jeff in Southfield. I just choked on my lunch during that Brad song. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever hered a call after the Smackoff that had that kind of reaction. Like 2 days after the Smackoff. They jumped the weekend, jumped Monday, and then that. Yeah, see, that's another guy who's not, well, I want to say he's not upset, but if he is upset, he channeled it properly. An amazing phone call. Jeff in Southfield. All right, when we come back, if you want to react to it, you go right ahead. Man, I'm still laughing at Schooled Ya. Jeff in Southfield. One more thought about Jeff. You know, the reaction to the Smackoff, as I mentioned, there were a lot of people who were really pissed. Of course you're pissed. If you're not in the top 3, you're pissed. If you don't win, you're pissed. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be pissed. You should want it badly. You should want to compete. I'm not saying that you should not be angry. I am saying I really respect his reaction to it. I'm going back on Twitter right now, and he tweeted on June 19th, Friday after the program. At School, you tweeted, quote, infinite gratitude eternally, I should say, to the Jim Rome Show for having me in the 2020 Smackoff. Loved it. Best wishes to everyone and their families. And he's got the martini glass emoji. Yeah, that's a classy response. I'm not saying you should all respond that way. Part of what makes you, some of you, is that you are running on a different kind of fuel. Man, this guy's just having fun. And he's appreciative. And I appreciate that response. Rick in Buffalo is another guy, and he's angry as hell and violent and wants to fight and break things. And his reaction also is very similar, I think. Now, for those of you who are not reacting that way, it's fine. It's cool. Like, you should be pissed. You should want to win. You should take it seriously. I get that. I understand that. But I do respect a guy like that saying, hey, thank you very much. It was great. And then he calls back on Tuesday and he drops that Dead Milkmen reference. So good. That's going to be a pretty tough act to follow. And I'm still getting Jeff in Southfield reaction pouring in. At Good Life Sean tweets, I'm already looking forward to the end of your show to hear you reset Jeff in Southfield's huge call of the day. Yeah, I think you can go ahead and bank on that. No one's going to beat that today. If this were Smackoff, you could very clearly say, shut it down, let's go home, it's over. This guy won. At the Croth Rhodes tweets, Jeff in Southfield's song would have destroyed the field on Friday. Seriously, where was that? At Not Total Big E tweets, take a victory lap, Jeff in Southfield, you earned it. At Doug Fairchild tweets, holy crap, I'm dying. That walk blast on Jeff in Richmond and the Bitchin Camaro reference was a legend. I swear nobody makes Romy laugh harder on camera than Jeff in Southfield. That might be true. Man, my man's funny. My man is weird, and my man is funny.
Who wants to walk with Jeff in Richmond? It's who wants Jeff in Richmond to walk? And the answer is your doctor, because you're fat, Jeff.
I'm sorry, man. Normally calling somebody fat's not that funny. That's funny. Tony in Maine tweets, is Bitch in Corona available on iTunes yet? Ward Jeff in Southfield. At S Gasman tweets, damn Jimmy, I just had to stop by Walgreens to get some more Xanax to calm down after listening to Jeff in Southfield. That was the first time I've heard him. I want more. Bro, if you want more, again, you have to go back and listen to his first ever call to the jungle. Even more legendary than that call. But that call was legendary. Nice job, Jeff. Way to create some content, Jeff. Way to elevate the conversation, Jeff. Way to make it better, Jeff. Damn good job, Jeff. And we had a really good phone call from Jeff in Southfield. I'm going to argue that it was one of the best post-Smackoff calls ever. His call today was better than his Smackoff call on Friday. One of the best non-Smackoff calls ever. That good. And I'm basing that on how I felt when I heard it and the reaction. If you missed it last hour, to give you a little bit of context, he did a parody of a Dead Milkmen song. This is the actual song.
Bitchin Camaro, I ran over my neighbors. Bitchin Camaro, now I'm in all the papers. My nose bought me.
Bitchin Camaro. Bitchin Camaro. Bitchin Camaro. I ran over my neighbors. Bitchin Camaro. He called Jeff in Southfield and changed that song to this.
Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna drive Brad's car, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna drive it real hard, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna shift a stick, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna ride that, woo! Bitchin' Corona, ba-da-da-bam-ba-da-bum.
That guy made that call last hour, and I'm still getting reaction. At JJ Sportmo, Parody Larry thinks all his songs sound like Jeff in Southfield when Larry cannot hold a note compared to Bitch in Corona. Yeah, nobody can. You don't want to compete with that. Who else would do something like that but Jeff in Southfield? At Nate Andre tweets, where the hell was that call Friday? Freaking nailed it. John D for 3 tweets, wow. Jeff in Southfield should have made that call Friday. Damn. Mike D for 3 tweets, the real triumph for Jeff in Southfield was making the Dead Milkmen entertaining.
Bitchin' Camaro, I ran over my neighbors.
You're wrong. They're entertaining. What are you talking about? I'm still getting Jeff in Southfield react, but really the only react that matters, or at least the react that matters most of all, that from the BIC. Alvin, really quickly, spin it back. Jeff in Southfield did a parody of the BIC. It sounded like this.
Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna drive Brad's car, bump, bump, bump. Bitchin' Corona, I'm gonna drive it real hard, bump, bump, bump.
That was in response to the Dead Milkmen Bitchin Camaro. The BIC is in. The BIC tweets, okay, I just heard Jeff in Southfield's song, and Lance in Topeka did it better, in my opinion.
Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. You live in California and you think that you're so grady, but truth be told, you're overrated just like IF Rady. You're nothing but a pissant with an arrogant persona. Brad in Corona. You tried to sing Celine Dion but got run from the Smackoff. Hey, Bradley, won't you do us all a favor and just back off? Because no one likes to listen to you on the telephone. Brad in Corona. In Corona, in Corona, in Corona. No one likes you till you have to live alone. Your career in talking smack is up in smoke. Brad, you are nothing but a joker. Bradley, you will never, ever win another Smackoff. The way you sing, you couldn't even win the Sadako. So go on, watch some porno with 6'2" and Fullertona. Brad in Corona. I'm out!
Better than I remember. Lance and Topeka used to have like these rap battles or parody battles with Parody Larry. That's how the show used to sound back in 2013, 2014. The two of these guys would go back and forth. They'd have parody battles. Largely forgettable. That was one of his finer moments, actually. It was one of the best calls post-Smackoff that we've had. In case you missed it, that was Jeff in Southfield. The other thing I noticed about Jeff in Southfield after today's call, I think a lot of you didn't like him, didn't get him, and then after today, it all flipped. It went 180. All of a sudden now, you love this guy. Kind of like Cal. Kind of like Cal, but multiplied by 100. A lot of you did not like Jeff, and I would argue you didn't like him because you didn't get him, and all of a sudden after this phone call earlier today, now you love this guy.
Jim, I've updated my Cal in Vegas impersonation. It now sounds like this. Hey, I tell you, I don't get no respect. I don't get no respect at all. Hey. That was a great call, Rodney. Hey, Jeff in Richmond, it's not who wants to walk with Jeff in Richmond. It's who wants Jeff in Richmond to walk? And the answer is your doctor, because you're fat, Jeff. Seriously, Jeff, your veins have more clogs than Matt in LA's work week. But you know who doesn't want you to walk, Jeff? Your trophy wife. She wants you to shotgun a keg of melted butter. That way when you drop dead, she can have all of your money instead of just having all your bros. Hey, Jim, here's a joke for all the Star Trek geeks. Hey, Lef, I was trying to remember where I've seen you before, and then I remembered. You were on Star Trek where you played a dude named Ferengi. What's up, Ferengi? And lastly, Jim, hey, Brad and Corona, here's what your photo says about you. The banana hammock says you have junior league junk. The cigar says you're insecure about your junk. And the hat and sunglasses say you're embarrassed to be you. You should be embarrassed, Brad. You have 5 crowns, and all you have to show for it is fast-tracking your gimp onto the hack-off watch list. Hey, Reggie, you're not just Brad's bitch, you're his gimp. Get back in your box, bro. I honestly can't stand you dudes and your whiny Jeff and SoCal voices. You remind me of the Dead Milkmen song, Bitchin Camaro. Except in your case, it's called Bitchin Corona. Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna drive Brand's car, Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna drive it real hard, Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna shift a stick, Bitchin Corona, I'm gonna ride that, woo! Bitchin Corona, ba-da-da-bam-ba-da-bum.
That's when you know what the answer to that question is.
Or not, Hawk, you're all right. That's better the second time through. You know something's good when you hear it once and then 2 hours later or 3 hours later, it's even better the second time through. That's amazing. Jeff in Southfield, better than what he did on Friday. I'm not saying that wins on Friday. Puts him in the top 10 on Friday. But it makes him number one today. Incredible phone call. My thanks to Jeff in Southfield. Why am I thanking him? Because he gave us content for the first hour. I was already set to do a different first hour. But again, I follow the show, right? If you give me something as good or better than what I have, rarely has that ever happened. But it did today. The guy was that good. I will follow the program. So my thanks to Jeff in Southfield.